Hi everyone, let's do the next section which is on the address by the president and the governor. So as you know that we are combining the parts union and the state legislature together. So therefore whatever corresponding things would be done, we would be doing it together. Now understanding about the address, so we have basically two articles for each, two articles for president's address and two articles for the governor's address. Firstly, what we'll see here, we have already done that. We have done that in what context? We have done that in the context of the legislative power of president and governor. So when we were doing the topic in the executive for the powers related to president and governor, we have talked about it. It is just that now it is being in the context done in the context of the legislature. So when we talk about the right of the president to address and send messages to houses. Now please notice houses likha hua hai, which means it is talking about one house also and both the house also. So the president may address either house of parliament, so either Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, or both houses assembled together. So when Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are assembled together, then also that address can be done, and for that purpose require the attendance of the members. That is obvious. Okay, attendance would be required for the members, and then the president, if needed, can address any of the house or both the houses. Similarly is given for the governor. You can see the articles. It is for article 86 for president, 175 for governor. So it says that the governor may address the legislative assembly or in those states wherein we have a council also, or either house or both house, and may for that purpose require the attendance of members. So first clause is same for both of them. Second clause says the president may send messages to either house. तो प्रेसिडेंट सिर्फ एड्रेस नहीं कर सकते हैं, प्रेसिडेंट चाहें तो मैसेज भी भेज सकते हैं to either house of the parliament. Now what kind of a message can be sent? Whether it is about certain bill. So after doing a couple of more lectures, we will be taking the sessions, different sessions, and I'll be doing it in exhaustively, and all the details will be covered about the bills. For the timing, just understand that a bill is proposed and that entire process happen and then it becomes an act if it receives the president's assent. So here you have to remember that message can be sent to the houses either with respect to a bill which is then pending in the parliament, or otherwise, or for any other matter also it can be sent, and a house to which any message is so sent. So if any such message is sent in any particular house, it shall with all convenient dispatch consider any matter required by the message to be taken into consideration. So it is the responsibility of that house to consider that matter about which the message is being sent by the president. So president can send the messages either with respect to the bill or any other matter. And whatever any other matter is being talked about in that message, it is the duty of the house to consider that. Same thing goes here. It's just that in place of the president you have governor. So the governor may send messages to the house or houses of the legislature of the state, whether about a bill pending or any other matter, and if such message is sent, then it should be considered by the house. I hope this entire thing which is coming under the legislative power of the president and the governor is clear to you. The second thing which is about the address is a kind of special address, and you will read it in your book when you discuss the different types of motions. So therein you would come across a term, and you might have also seen this in the newspaper, which is about the motion of thanks. So firstly let us see what the constitution says, and then we'll see some extra information. So article 87 and 176, it talks about the special address by the president and the governor. Now when we talk about the special address by the president, it says at the commencement of the first session after each general election to the House of People. Now please note here, Now you have already understood about what is session, what is sitting, and all of that. So it shouldn't be clear. It shouldn't be a problem to you. So it says the first session after each general election. सो लोकसभा में, क्योंकि राज्यसभा में तो जनरल इलेक्शन की हम बात नहीं कर रहे हैं, दैट इज़ एन इनडायरेक्ट इलेक्शन एंड दैट इज़ नॉट लाइक एंडिंग हाउस, यू नो, इट नेवर डिजॉल्व्स. सो लोकसभा में आफ्टर एवरी जनरल इलेक्शन, द नॉर्मल टेन्योर फॉर विच इज़ 5 years, the first session will happen, then the president will address, and at the commencement of the first session of each year. So it is talking about टू इंस्टेंसेस. वन इंस्टेंसेस जब एक नया इलेक्शन होकर एक नया लोकसभा कॉन्स्टिट्यूट होगा, एंड द सेकेंड इंस्टेंसेस हर साल के फर्स्ट सेशन में. ठीक है, द प्रेसिडेंट विल एड्रेस both the houses of the parliament assembled together. Please note these words, assembled together, and inform parliament of the causes of its summons. Summoning आपको पता है, houses को बुलाना, तो वो parliament को बताएंगे that what are the causes of summoning the house. Provision shall be made by the rules regulating the procedure of either house for the allotment of time for the discussion of the matters referred to in such address. Now understand what is happening here. The president will give a special address. ठीक है, here the address we are talking about is that the president has the right to address, और वो कभी भी कर सकते हैं. ठीक है, that can happen any time. But here what we are talking about is the special address which will happen at two special occasions. One, when a new Lok Sabha is constituted, the another, the first session of the each year. And both the houses will be assembled together. And the president will then talk about that why have we summoned the house and why have we gathered together. Now basically this address is discussed in a motion which is called as motion of thanks. ठीक है, अब यहाँ पे क्या होता है दैट हियर द प्रेसिडेंट आउटलाइंस द गवर्नमेंट्स पॉलिसीज एंड द प्रोग्राम्स. ठीक है, लिखा गवर्नमेंट के ऑफिस द्वारा ही जाता है, बट द प्रेसिडेंट हैज़ टू गिव इट इन द स्पीच. सो in the preceding year, whatever policies, programs have been there, what will be done in the coming year, all of that is discussed. So the members of the parliament also get an opportunity. This becomes a platform or an opportunity for them to raise any kind of discussion or debate, so that they can examine how the government has performed. They can criticize the administration or the government if they notice any lapse or the failures. Now the entire point here is that it is telling that the provision shall be made by the rules regulating the procedure of either house. Now understand, we have rules of Lok Sabha and rules of Rajya Sabha. ठीक है, and that will, because not everything is given in the constitution and it cannot be, it has to be like evolved with time. So whatever rules are given in those rule book, यहीं पे बोला जा रहा है कि उस rules में आपको प्रोविज़न देना होगा फॉर द अलॉटमेंट ऑफ टाइम फॉर द डिस्कशन ऑफ मैटर्स. जो भी इस प्रेसिडेंशियल एड्रेस में मैटर डिस्कस किया जाएगा, उसके डिस्कशन के लिए टाइम आप वहाँ पे अलॉट कर देंगे उस रूल बुक में. ठीक है, नाउ व्हेन दिस मोशन ऑफ थैंक्स इज डिस्कस्ड, after the entire speech is done, after entire policy and everything is discussed, it is put to vote in the end. After the entire speech is done, it is put to vote for the members. Now the point is, it has to be passed, must be passed by the members. If it will not, if this motion of thanks will not be, they can criticize, that is okay, but at the end it has to be passed. And if they do not pass, or if it doesn't get passed, it will considered as a defeat of the government. आपने नो कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन सुना होगा, एंड विल बी डूइंग इट इन डिटेल ऑल्सो लेटर. तो जिस तरीके से वहाँ पे गवर्नमेंट कोलैप्स कर सकती है, यहाँ पे भी दिस इज़ ऑल्सो अनदर ऑप्शन wherein it will be considered as the defeat of the government. Now this kind of a presidential speech is very similar to the speech from the throne in Britain also. Okay, now on a very similar basis, we have a special address by the governor. So at the commencement of the first session after each general election to the legislative assembly, at the commencement of the first session of each year, governor एड्रेस करेंगे. अगर असेंबली है तो असेंबली तो होगी ही, बट अगर काउंसिल भी है तो दोनों को साथ में, एंड इन्फॉर्म द लेजिस्लेचर ऑफ द कॉज ऑफ समन. एंड द सेम थिंग इज सेड अबाउट द matter which is given in the rules. Okay, so these are two things about the address by the president and the governor. One is the general context, and here the right to send messages is also there, either with respect to bill or the bill which is pending or any other matter. And the second kind of address is the special address, which you have to relate to the motion of thanks. Okay, in the next video we will discuss about the chairman and the deputy chairman of Rajya Sabha and Legislative Council. Hope this video was of use to you. Thank you so much. Bye bye.